What's up, guys? Kamikaze Fox coming to you once again from SRL. There we go, making sure we're avoiding any type of audio issues. So Kamikaze Fox coming to you once again from SRL. Season 10, Round 10, F124 on the PlayStation platform. Going to have a full house today. It's been a couple-week break from SRL actual league racing. I hope everyone had a Merry Christmas, and we didn't do a race last week. Last week before Christmas, we did the SRL 1v1 Winter Tournament, which was won overall by Jamie Jägerstrom. But backing that up, if we want to recap round 9, there we go, just making sure I've got everything. Trying to avoid any type of audio issue. Been having audio issues lately, so I've used a new headset. Trying to make sure that everything works well. I'm getting some weird notifications on my console here. So just bear with me, folks. I want to make sure I have everything right before we actually get to the race. And while we do that, let's run down our driver lineup for today's race. Here at Monaco, Jensen Randall in the McLaren, your champion. The fuck? Oh, let's see if this works. All right, looks like we're back in action for now. See how long that lasts. I don't know what the microphone issue is. I don't know if it's a connection issue with the freaking controller or what the deal is. So Robin Herderstagen in the Haas, Juan Rivas in the Visa Cash App RB, Jamie Jägerstrom, who won the 1v1 tournament in the Williams, Bor Bune in the Haas, Noel Rosa Abia in the Kick Sauber, Max Mulder in the Alpine, Vincenzo Torri in the Aston Martin, Dion Stahl in the Ferrari, David Rod in the other Sauber, Tim Ventic, who is second in the championship point standings in the Alpine, Noah Smith in the Williams. Andrea Latrella is joining us today with the Visa Cash App RB, and Alex Benarichetti, your Season 2 champion in the other Aston Martin. So hopefully we're going to avoid any more audio issues for today's race. I'm trying my best. I really am. As it stands, point standings after round 9, Jenson Randall is still your championship points leader with 172 points to his credit. He is followed by Tim Ventic with 115 and Jerome Adamaco third in points with 96. Closely behind him is David Rod in fourth with 85. Sandro Duilis is fifth with 75 points. Oleski sixth with 65. Noah Smith 58 in seventh. Jamie Jägerstrom 40 points. Andrea Latrella is ninth with 30, and Noel Rosa Abia rounds out your top 10 with 24 points. He's actually tied with Vincenzo Torri. Juan Rivas, Pablo Baz both have 19 and 18 respectively. Now, in the team standings, McLaren is leading the way, mostly with Jenson Randall at the helm, 190 points. Alpine is second with 164. So the team championship's a little bit closer than the actual driver's championship. So getting ready to kick off an 18-minute short qualifying session, followed by a 50% race, which will be with 39 laps. We've got Ivan Brito on the live chat. And Nick Van Gelder is going to join mid-qualifying. So Nick running fashionably late as usual. We've got Whippo Film on the live chat as well. And with Nick joining us halfway through the qualifying session, that'll make for a full grid of 20 drivers here for today's race. And obviously, if anybody wants to chime in, feel free. If you're going to win any race in your SRL F1 career, you should definitely make it the Monaco Grand Prix. We see one of the McLarens is getting ready to head out. Let's get some information up here for everybody. I don't want telemetry, I want lap data, and I want a track map. There is good old-fashioned Monaco. Now, obviously, it's hard to pick just one Monaco Grand Prix in SRL history to actually stand out amongst the rest, but it is the 10th anniversary season, so we'll try and do our best. But realistically, Season 3 was probably the most memorable for a couple of reasons. In Season 3, Francis McGinn, who's going on to bigger and better things, he was leading in the early stages of the race and had a commanding lead and crashed out. And then on the safety car restart, a rookie by the name of Jesper Lempinen at the time had spun from the lead at the Harbor Chicane. He worked himself back into lead with some strategy after a brief rain shower to win his first and only SRL race to date. Jesper Lempinen back in Season 3. One of the most memorable SRL races in our 10 seasons that we've been doing this. We're currently watching Jenson Randall on an outlap. Obviously, qualifying is going to be so crucial here on the streets of Monaco. And Nick Van Gelder saying, as usual indeed, me referring to him being fashionably late, as we get ready to watch Jenson Randall start a hot lap. So down the short straightaway into turn 1, Sandavort, and then up the hill. Caution flag flying in sector 3. You're probably going to see a lot of that today. Oh, and Max Mulder has joined. There we go. And we see Jenson Randall coming down to Marabou, and then the Grand Hotel hairpin. Lock up on the front tires there. And then the infamous tunnel. Everybody knows the tunnel here in F1. Even if you're not a race fan, the tunnel looks familiar. I'm sure you've seen it at some point. Down to the Novell chicane. Oh, it looks like he might have cut that corner a little tight. Probably got a track warning, but his time is still good. Runs it a little wide there through the swimming pool hairpin. Purple through sector 2. Coming down to the last couple of corners into the Razkaz. Power down. This is a really fast lap from Jensen Randall, as to be expected, but this one looked particularly impressive. And the Will Rosa has set the first time with a 1:10.573, but Jensen Randall just smashed that by 2 seconds. 1:08.285 is your provisional pole sitter. Jerome Adamako only able to muster a 1:10.764, and he has been one of the fastest drivers in the last few races, and currently third in the point standings. Jerome Adamako has also been fighting a leg injury in real life, which has been a little tough for him to try and work out. So we'll pick up Tim Ventic. He's currently second in the point standings in the Alpine as he runs up the hill to Casino. Through the Casino corner. And down the hill you see one of the cars off to the side there. Looks like that's the other Alpine trying to get out of the way into the Grand Hotel hairpin. Traffic is going to be of much concern in today's race. Down through the second part of Marabou into the tunnel. We see some other times coming in. Board Bune, he's gone 1:09.857. Andrea Latrella has gone 1:10.471. That's good enough for third. Tim Ventic just comes out of the Nouvelle chicane. He's heading into the swimming pool chicane. Oh, big lock up there on the right front. Jumps the curb. Oh, brushes the wall. He's trying to put everything he's got into it through the Razkaz. All kinds of tire smoke coming from the front of the car. Juan Rivas has gone 1:10.496 as well. And Tim Ventic's going to come across the line of 1:09.538. He's only one of two drivers that have cracked into the 1:09s. Jensen Randall, the only driver in the 1:08s. Mostly everybody else has been in the 1:10s. Sam Brandt, Deion Stahl coming across with 1:10s as well. Here we see another. David Rod now 1:08.874. Second quickest. Let's see here. Alex Benavrichetti has gone 11th quickest. We're going to pick up Jamie Jägerstrom, last week's 1v1 winter bracket winner. He's yet to set a time. He's currently on an out lap. So is Oleski. We'll see if we can pick up Sandro Dulius. Sandro should be on a timed lap as he comes out of the Nouvelle chicane. See a bit of wing over there. Got a caution flag flying in sector 3 through the swimming pool section. He's catching up to Jamie Jägerstrom. Looks like Jamie just dived into the pits. Ivan Brito, I believe, has a qualifying ban, and Robin Herterstegen has retired from the session. Unfortunately, Robin did not. Well, he set a time of 1:13.072. Meanwhile, Sandro Dulius just went 1:10.034. Good enough for fifth quickest so far. Let's go back to Jamie Jägerstrom, see if we can pick up his timed lap. Ooh, through the Grand Hotel hairpin, a little wide there. Slides the back end. Through the tunnel. Through the Nouvelle chicane. A bit of a wiggle there coming out of that. Through the swimming pool chicane. Jumps the curb. Through Razkaz. He's purple through sector 2. So this is a pretty good time here for Jamie Jägerstrom. But he's going to come across the line, and it's going to be a little off here in the third sector. A 1:09.383. That's good enough for third quickest so far. So that drops Tim Ventic into fourth. Meanwhile, Oleski, one of the quicker drivers, we've yet to see a time posted by him. He is purple in sector 2. And he has caught some traffic. That is one of the Williams trying to get out of the way. That would have been Noah Smith on his out lap. And Oleski's only good enough for 10th in a 1:10.517. Noah Smith may have gotten in his way. We're going to pick up Noah Smith, and he's going to have to contend with the traffic of Oleski. And Noah Smith is purple in sector 1. Now, he does have a Lesky in front of him. Lesky's trying to maintain a pretty good pace to stay out of the way. And he should be able to just cut through the Novell chicane, leave it wide open for Noah Smith coming down out of the tunnel. Lesky chooses not to do that, so Noah Smith's going to go a little rough through there. Got a lot of tire smoke coming out of his front tires, locking them up. Runs it a little wide. Looks like he might have brushed the wall there. Oh! Look at all the tire smoke coming off of the front of this Williams as Noah Smith is trying to put in a lap, clips the wall just a little bit there. And Noah Smith, 1:10.029, good enough to just outpace Sandro Duilius by about 5 thousandths of a second. That's good enough for 7th quickest so far. Then we'll pick up Alex Benarichetti, your Season 2 champion in the Aston Martin, trying to improve upon his time, 1:12.864. Meanwhile, Max Mulder and Vincenzo Torri have yet to set a time. Vincenzo Torri is still in the pits. Max Mulder is currently on an out lap. As we watch Alex Benarichetti here. 8:45 left to play in the session. Oh, and he hits the wall coming out of that corner. Through Razkaz, tries to get the power down. He's going to stay on it. Oh, big slide through that corner there. It looks like he is going to improve his time. Improves his time by 0.3 of a second. Unfortunately, still only good enough for 15th. And it looks like we've got Senna Haywire on the live chat as well, rooting for Max Mulder. Well, Max is on an out lap, trying to stay out of the way. He lets his teammate go by. That's Tim Ventic into Razkaz, trying to stay out of his way. And Jensen Randall, we didn't pick it up, but Jensen Randall just went faster, 1:07.982. So somehow Jensen has managed to find a gap in the traffic and find pace on track to go even quicker. Max Mulder coming out of Sandevort. Looks like he might have clipped the wall going up the hill. So Max is into the wall. Well, Senna, if Max is going to get pole, it's not going to be on this lap. And it looks like Nick Van Gelder has joined the session officially. 7 minutes left to play, so he's got enough time he could set a lap. David Ra just invalidated his lap time. Jägerstrom's pulled into the pits. We'll pick up Sandro Duilius. And, oh, you see Max Mulder there. His car is wounded. The right rear is completely flat. He's going to have to work his way around. Stay out of trouble. Get new tires on the car. There's enough time, and Max might be able to pull it off to get a time on the board. We continue to watch Sandro Duilius trying to improve upon his time. Currently 4th quickest so far, 1:09.228. And that might have been a time he's already set. He's 1.5 off of his previous time, so it looks like we missed that. We'll pick up Andrea Latrella. And it looks like Andre is off it as well. Noah Smith on another out lap. Let's see, we pick up Juan Rivas. And actually, let's go pick up Vincenzo Torri, one of 2 drivers who's yet to set a time. And Noah Smith is going to retire from the session, so I don't know if he had an accident or decided to call it a day, but his time's going to be locked in at a 1:10.029, currently good enough for 9th quickest on the board. Watching Vincenzo Torri, who's yet to set a time. So the only other drivers that haven't set a time, Nick Van Gelder, who just joined the session. Ivan Brito's got a qualifying ban. Max Mulder was out on a timed lap, ended up losing it right before he got to the casino hairpin, so he's got a flat right rear. He's working his way back into the pits, so he'll go out and try again. Vincenzo Torri going to come across the line with 5 minutes left to play in the session, and his time is going to be 1:10.819, and that's just how close the field is, because that is only good enough for 14th quickest on the board. We'll pick up Alex Benarichetti, and he was looking to improve his time. He's gone 1:11.838, so his times continue to drop, but unfortunately not enough. He's going to be 16th quickest so far as he dives into the pits. Pick up Aleski. Aleski's managed to go 1:09.836, good enough for 6th quickest on the board, so he's improved upon his original time. Quickest through Sector 1, it looks like. Is he still on it, though? So out of the tunnel, down through the Novell chicane, through the swimming pool section. Purple in Sector 2. He's improving upon his time. Ooh, and a big slide coming out of there. Puts the power down. That probably cost him a little bit of time, but he is going to come across the line. Improves his time by 0.3, 1:09.498. That only gets him one spot, though. That moves him from 6th to 5th. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall has called it a day. He's going to be locked in at that 1:07.982. That is your provisional pole position right there for Jensen Randall. He's the only driver to crack into the 1:07s. We got a lot of other drivers on outlaps. Let's pick up Dion Stahl. He's currently coming out of Razkaz. And then down onto the front straightaway. And Dion Stahl, 1:09.876. That's good enough for 8th position so far. Pick up Sam Brandt. Looks like Sam's just starting a timed lap now. Sam making his full-time comeback this year to SRL F1 racing after being on a bit of a sabbatical for the last couple seasons. Did participate in the Project Cars 2 GT3 sports car season. And we did a couple seasons back. Was pretty competitive in that. Actually, he enjoyed that a lot. It sounds like he might be off of the throttle here. Looks like he's got one of the Saubers coming up from behind him. That might be David Rod. Let's see if we can pick that up. That is David Rod, so Sam Brandt's going to get out of the way. Ooh, big slide there by David Rod. Good line through the swimming pool chicane, though. I like the way that looked. Into Razkaz. Very quick through there. A little bit of a twitch trying to get that power down. He's going 1:08.874. That's about 0.9 of a second off of Jensen Randall's pace. He's going to come across the line. He improves his time, not his position, unfortunately. He's got enough time. He could go for it again if he really wanted to, but he may have burned those tires up trying to do just that one lap. Here comes his teammate, Noel Rosa Ibiza, through the swimming pool section, down into Razkaz. And he's going to abort that lap, so Noel's going to call it a day. We'll pick up Andrea Latrella. Andrea Latrella is up by 2/100ths of a second. 2/100ths of a second over his previous time. Looks like he is off the pace. We'll pick up Max Mulder. Mulder just cut the chicane, so he is out of it. Pick up Vincenzo Torri. Trying to see if anybody's on a hot lap at this point. Looks like most of these guys have put in their last-ditch efforts to no avail. So let's pick up Nick Van Gelder. Nick Van Gelder's invalidated his lap time. Dion Stahl's going to retire from the session, so Nick's going to take a one-lap effort trying to get a time on the board as he slides through Sandevort in turn 1 up the hill. Nick Van Gelder loves himself a loose race car. I don't know that this is the track for it. Runs it a little wide there, brushes the wall, big lockup on the front heading into the Grand Hotel hairpin. So this is Nick's last-ditch effort to try and put even a time on the board, and you see how competitive it is, 109s and 110s. Only a couple of tenths is going to gain you a few spots. Through the Novell chicane, it was a little sloppy through there, but manages to not invalidate the lap. Oh man, that is not a good line through the swimming pool chicane. Time is up. Hot laps will count. Big lockup heading into Razkaz. Nick Van Gelder trying to get the power down, seeing what kind of time he can put on the board. He's very smooth through the last corner there. He's going to come across the line and a 1:10.311. That is only good enough for 15th quickest on the board. Vincenzo Torri is on an invalidated lap. Alex Benarichetti looks like he's still on a time lap as he slaps the wall with the right rear. He's 0.3 of a second off of his best time, so he is not going to be able to improve his position. Sandro Dulius is locked in at the 1:08. We'll pick up Oleski. Oleski currently on a timed lap. He is a 10th quicker than his previous time. That would garner him at least one position. Here comes Oleski, and then it's going to move him from 7th to 5th, a 1:09.244. So good effort by him. Second in point standings, Tim Ventic. He's going to come across the line, not improve his position. I'm sorry, he jumps up into 4th. So that leaves Juan Rivas. He is on an invalidated lap time. So another pole position to Jensen Randall, and it's the most important pole position of the season because it is for here on the streets of Monaco. So that does it for qualifying. So that was an 18-minute short qualifying session. We're going to back that up with a 50% race. It'll be 39 laps here around the streets of Monaco, where anything can happen. A race of attrition. Weather is always a factor. So congratulations to Jensen Randall on another pole position. Really no surprise there. Looks like that is his 5th pole position of the season. So we'll let the game reset, let them line up. We'll go through the running order on the formation lap. So right now, it looks like sunny skies here in the hills of Monaco. And the game is taking its sweet time on resetting for this race. Hopefully we don't run into any lobby issues. You see the drivers' names line up on pit road here. Nick Van Gelder, Sam Brandt for Oracle Red Bull Racing. So come on, game. What's happening? There we go. So formation lap, Jensen Randall in the McLaren, his 5th pole position of the season. Starting on the front row, right behind him is going to be David Rod in the Kick Sauber. Sandro Dulius with a great qualifying effort. We saw his early laps. We didn't catch his last timed lap, though. Moved himself up into the 3rd position, so a good starting spot for him. Tim Ventic is going to be 4th in the 2nd row. He is 2nd in points as far as the championship points standings go. Jimmy Jägerstrom coming off of a strong performance last week at the SRL Winter event, the 1v1 bracket tournament, where he walked away with the overall victory. He'll be starting in 5th. Oleski is going to be starting in 6th. And Noel Rosa Aviza is in the other Kick Sauber, starting in the 7th position. On board Bune in the Haas will be starting in the 8th spot. Juan Rivas and Andrea Latrella. It is an all Visa Cash App RB. 5th row for 9th and 10th. Dion Stahl going to be starting in the 11th spot. Noah Smith is going to be starting in 12th, and then 13th and 14th not on the formation left. That is Sam Brandt and Max Mulder. And then Nick Van Gelder, who came in with about 7 minutes left to play in the qualifying session, only managed to get himself into the 15th position. Vincenzo Torri, a disappointing qualifying effort for him, I'm sure. He's starting in the 16th spot. And Jerome Adamaco, one of the fastest drivers on the circuit, been struggling with a leg injury the past few weeks. I'm not sure what his status is coming into today's race, but a very disappointing qualifying effort for him. Running 17th, he is currently 3rd in the overall point standings. Alex Benarichetti, your Season 2 champion, is going to be starting at 18th. Robin Hertestegen is going to be 19th. And Ivan Brito, who had a qualifying ban, will be starting all the way in the back. And that rounds out your full grid of 20 drivers for today's race. Waiting on the 5 red lights. Lights out, time to run what you brung. They're away in a puff of smoke, and it's a good start by Jensen Randall. David Rod's going to try and tuck in behind him. Sandro Dulius has got some heat coming around the outside, and that is Tim Ventic, and they make a little bit of contact as they come up the hill. And it is going to be a mess. There's bits and pieces already flying as they come up the hill. Contact with the wall. Looks like that was a... Oh, and one of the Visa Cash App cars has made contact with somebody else, and that's a Haas Robin Hertestegen. It looks like maybe Borbune. Somebody else is around. There's a melee here at the top of the hill. Jerome Adamaco's involved. Nick Van Gelder's involved. Alex Benarichetti is a big winner in all that. And a virtual safety car comes out with all of that contact. And somehow Max Mulder has dropped all the way to the bottom of the grid. He had a rough qualifying session. Tried to catch all of the action that was happening at the top of the hill, but it was just too many cars. So Jensen Randall, your leader, somehow out in front of Tim Ventic by 3 seconds. Jamie Jägerstrom managed to move his way into 3rd. David Rod got up into 4th. Sandro Dulius drops from 3rd to 5th. Noel Rosa is up into the 6th position. Juan Rivas, who was one of the Visa Cash Apps at the top of the hill, was making contact and ping-ponging off of a lot of people. Him and Andrea Latrella both made it up to 7th and 8th. Noah Smith is 9th. Dion Stahl is going to be 10th. Now, David Rod has dived into the pits. Who's coming with him? Right now, it doesn't look like anybody. David Rod, the only one. And Jamie Jägerstrom gets a 3-second timing penalty, cutting the corner under the safety car. So Jägerstrom, on lap 2, has a 3-second timing penalty. You see a lot of guys in the pits. Borbune, David Rod, Alex Benarichetti, Vincenzo Torri, Jerome Adamaco, Oleski, Sam Brandt. So the big winner in all this has been Nick Van Gelder and Dion Stahl. They've managed to move themselves up into the points, 9th and 10th respectively. And we're technically back to green flag racing. It's hard to tell because the track is so slow. We'll pick up Jensen Randall as he comes through the tunnel. And caution flag flying in Sector 1 as we take a look at the helicopter cam here. And Ivan Brito battling it out with Robin Hertestegen for the 11th position. So Tim Ventic managed to get around Jamie Jägerstrom. And Jensen Randall just ran the fastest lap of this race. And looks like Juan Rivas has dived into the pit, so he's going to give up a position. We're currently watching Jamie Jägerstrom and Tim Ventic. This is a battle for second. Jägerstrom behind Tim Ventic. He also has that 3-second timing penalty that he's going to have to contend with. Meanwhile, oh, and there's contact between these two. Jägerstrom trying to get to the inside. Tim's going to fight back. You can't go shoulder to shoulder through the Grand Hotel hairpin. This is allowing... So another virtual safety car. Looks like we've lost David Rod. There we go, and we got me back. Still having audio issues, unfortunately. So virtual safety car, David Rod. Not sure what happened to him. Looks like we've got ourselves no actual safety car yet. We were watching the battle with Tim Ventic and Jamie Jägerstrom. And Andrea Latrella picks up a speeding penalty. I'm sorry, a drive-through penalty, speeding under the virtual safety car. And now we're back to green flag racing. So we're watching a 4-car battle here. And Sam Brandt has retired from the session. So that's going to be a caution flag, sector 3. So we're watching this 3-car battle. There's a caution flag flying in sector 2. Noah Smith with with a timing penalty for multiple warnings. Okay, so Jamie Jägerstrom's going to dive into the pits, trying to keep up with everything and fight my mic. So Sandro Dolius is up into second. He's got Noel Rosa behind him. Noah Smith has a 3-second timing penalty hanging over his head. He's up into 4th. Dion Stahl now up into 5th. Nick Van Gelder is into the 6th position. Jägerstrom is heading out of the pits along with Andrea Latrella behind him. Tim Ventic, who I believe pitted a lap or 2 ago, now up into 9th. See if he can get around these two, and he's going to have the momentum, but he's not going to be able to make it work through Sandevort. And Juan Rivas is now going to be in the 10th position. So closest battle on track going to be Sandro Dolius and Noel Rosa heading out of the tunnel. All right, so now that that's all kind of straightened out, this is only lap 5 of 39 laps. We've lost David Rod. We've lost Sam Brandt. We've had 2 virtual safety cars. And Max Mulder picks up a 3-second timing penalty. So now the timing penalties are starting to come in. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall just ran the fastest lap of this race again at a 1:11.276. And he is out in front to the tune of 11 seconds over Sandro Dolius, who's currently running in 2nd, started 3rd, dropped to 5th, managed to work his way back through all the melees, keeping it clean so far. But he's got Juan Rivas in hot pursuit. I'm sorry, Noel Rosa, not Juan Rivas. Meanwhile, Tim Ventic just managed to get around Andrea Latrella for the 8th position. Borbune just ran the fastest lap of this race at a 1:11.211. And Jerome Adamaco has just managed to get around Alex Benarichetti for the 12th position. So he's still not even in the points as of right now. And Sam Brandt on the live chat wants to join. We can make that happen. And while I was... Oh, and it's Jerome Adamaco. Unfortunately, I went to invite Sam Brandt to the party, and we've got ourselves a full course caution. Safety car is out, and that's at the expense of Jerome Adamaco, who is currently running in the 12th position. Looks like he's had a big off, and Jerome is not going to finish today's race. So now we've got a lot of guys that are going to be diving into the pits. Sandro Dolius, Noel Rosa is into the pits. That's going to move Noah Smith up into the 2nd position. And this is going to close everything up, so what a turn of events. What a race. We're only on lap 7. There's been a lot going on. A lot going on track, a lot going on for me trying to fight my mic. And yeah. Sam Brandt is with us, and a 10-second timing penalty for Max Mulder. Crossed the pit lane exit white line. A silly mistake to make under normal circumstances, even more silly under safety car circumstances. Yeah. Sam, I didn't get to see what happened to you, but just go ahead and recap how your day has been so far.
Well, qualifying was actually relatively good. I think I wasn't expecting to be...
Oh, and a 10-second timing penalty, speeding into the pit lane for Jensen Randall.
Oh, dear. Yeah, that's an easy one,
huge.
actually. It's easier to pick up those speeding penalties than people think, because the pit lane here is kind of awkward when you enter it. So, but yeah, as you say, with Max Mulder, silly mistake to pick up under safety car conditions, because yeah, he's not gonna lose a position. But yeah, I mean, yeah, to go back to what happened to me, I think the qualifying was relatively good. I'm not usually super fast around Monaco, so starting like closely to the top 10 was pretty decent, and then going into Casino Corner, or like the corner before Casino, I don't know, I actually don't know what happened. My teammate came flying up my inside, supposedly helped by the Alpine of Max Mulder, according to him. And my car lifted up into the air. If there was no guardrail, I probably would have gone over the wall and into the casino. So,
wow, okay, I definitely missed that.
But yeah, from that point on, I had the floor damage, my rear wing was damaged, my diffuser was damaged. So every single time I turned into corners, I would lose stability, and then yeah, I had no pace, I had no like feel in the car. I couldn't do anything with the car, so I thought as much that in order to avoid being a running roadblock and potential hazard to the other drivers, I thought it would be smartest to retire the car.
Well, I gotta say that's a very mature decision, which a decision like that from you makes sense. You've been doing this for so long, specifically in SRL. You know, you've got a good head on you to know when you can be competitive and when you're going to be a roadblock. And for the most part, you know, you've progressively gotten better throughout the course of this season. Each and every race, you seem to find a little bit more feel and grip in the car and get a little bit more confidence. So, but
yeah,
good to mentally make that decision, be mature enough to make that decision. A lot of drivers would continue to stay out and fight the car and, as you say, become a moving roadblock for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's especially not, I think at other tracks you could probably get away with it, because like if you do spin, well, you would just spin into a gravel trap or maybe into the runoff area. But here at Monaco, there is not that space. So, I mean, if you spin, you're basically becoming a part of the barrier and becoming, as you say, a roadblock. So there was no need for that. I thought we already have enough challenges as it is, so no need to add another challenge to it. So yeah,
well, we continue to circulate under the safety car. We started with 20 drivers, we're down to 17. We've lost Jerome Adamako in this most recent incident. Didn't see what happened to him, unfortunately. Sam Brandt had a melee and he has decided to call it a day, and then we lost David Rod as well.
Yeah, I don't know where David got caught up. It might be the lap 1 incident as well that sent me up in the air. I have no idea. I know Jerome, he spun in the casino corner, so a very common mistake we see when the fatigue sets in Formula 1 in real life. So yeah, interesting.
Well, and realistically, David Rod, Jerome Adamako, you're talking two very fast drivers, both within the top 5, top 4, top 3 of points. So realistically, you know, Jensen Randall, Tim Bentic, 1 and 2 in the point standings, currently running 1 and 3 on track. So kind of weird to see very fast drivers like that. I know Jerome's been fighting a leg injury for the last number of weeks now. We certainly do wish him a speedy recovery. Not sure how that affected him today, but I could tell immediately just within qualifying, he was off the pace. So maybe that's struggling a little bit more than anticipated.
Actually, like insiders, again, we drivers obviously speak with each other during the race, and Jerome was like, he retired on his fastest lap. He was 2 seconds up on his fastest lap in qualifying, so he was on pace throughout. He's on pad, so yeah. I guess it's that inconsistency when you're a wheel user, by like when you normally use a wheel, then going back to pad when you don't have a leg that you can use is, yeah, it's not the nicest thing.
So it looks like most of the cars are going to be caught up to the safety car queue, and we just got it, race control, safety car in this lap. Looks like there's one car on pit road. It looks like that would probably be Max Mulder, it looks like, so he'll be coming out. So Mulder will not be in the queue as he's getting ready to head through Sandavort. So Jensen Randall's going to become your control car. Sandro Dulius is technically in second, but he's got a Ivan Brito in between Jensen Randall and Sandro Dulius.
Yeah, and we see Ivan moving out of the way straight away.
Now Sandro's got Tim Ventic to contend with. We've got a caution flag flying in Sector 3. Looks like things have sorted themselves out for the moment.
Oh, there was a slide there from Aston Martin of Vincenzo. I think there's a puncture potentially for Alexi. No, that's not Alexi, that's Ivan. No, he's just a lap down, my bad.
So Jensen Randall pulling out from the Grand Hotel. He's already got himself a 3-second gap over Sandro Dulius. I mean, that's a little bit to be expected with Ivan Brito being in the way. Tim Ventic all over the back of Sandro's car. That's going to be your closest battle on track, and obviously for a podium position like second and third. Definitely want to keep eyes on that. Noah Smith, who's got a 3-second timing penalty hanging over his head. Dive bombs!
Oh, that
dive
was close.
bomb Noel Rosa and manages to make it work. And Alex Benarichetti picks up a 3-second timing penalty. Now, I guess the big thing here for Sandro is if he can stay within that 10-second window of Jensen Randall, he could actually walk away with the win of this race. Because Jensen's got that 10-second timing penalty looming over his head. So Jensen's got his work cut out for him to try and spread that 10-second gap. Sandro's got his work cut out for him to try and stay within that 10 seconds, and he's bringing Tim Ventic with him.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, like, I think you say the key word that you said was if Sandro can keep up with Jensen, because that is a big if when it comes to Jensen. He is like worlds beyond fast, and it seems like here at Monaco he's just found another gear, it seems.
Yeah, caution flag flying in Sector 1. And yeah, I mean, as you say, it's a big if. The gap is now up to 4.5 seconds back. But Sandro, one of the cleanest drivers on the circuit, relatively, doesn't have a lot of DNFs, doesn't cause a lot of incidences, doesn't get a lot of timing penalties. So Jensen, with his raw speed, I mean, there's always the potential Jensen could add to that 10 seconds with another 3-second penalty. So, but as it stands right now, and there's a 3-second timing penalty to Vincenzo Torri as we're speaking. So it's still up for grabs, but this is becoming a 3-car battle. This is Sandro, Tim Ventic, and Noah Smith, who already has a 3-second timing penalty hanging over his head.
Yeah, I think for Jensen, if we just like round that off, I suppose the biggest threat for Jensen is not necessarily the penalties, but Monaco has a different thing going that you usually can't cut a corner here, and instead of cutting corners, it just takes a wheel off your car if you're trying to cut a corner usually. So that's the big threat, I suppose, for Jensen, is that if he pushes too hard, maybe he loses a front wing, or a worst case scenario, he takes his one of his wheels off.
Yeah, we've seen that a lot through the hairpins at the swimming pool section. Often coming out of that second chicane can really call out the right front sometimes, and obviously there's always the potential of pancaking the right side of the car, at the hairpin that they're going through now. So, and Noah Smith picks up another 3-second timing penalty. So Noah Smith racing awfully hard for somebody who's got 6 seconds looming over his head. And Benarichetti picks up another 3-second timing penalty. He's currently running in the 13th position. And it looks like Oleski is getting around Dion Stahl for 14th. And another safety car has come out. 10-second timing penalty for Benarichetti.
Max Mulder has spun and just before the swimming pool.
Put his car, nosed it into the wall. Talking about how tricky that swimming pool section can be. You're coming out of that right-hander. You want to kind of arc it into that swimming pool chicane as fast as you can.
Yeah, and the trick really is that you don't want to obviously cut the corner, because then you're taking the barrier, but you don't want to turn in too late because you're taking the outside barrier in that case. So it is a fine line, and it just seems like Max Mulder, from the way that he was facing, I would guess that he clipped the inside barrier with his rear tires.
So another safety car here on lap 14 of 39. This is a big advantage for Sandro because that 10 seconds is going to close back up to nothing. So it was a 5-second gap that Sandro is running behind Jensen Randall. Jensen Randall with the 10-second timing penalty hanging over his head. So Sandro's still in the catbird seat, but he was a 3-car battle between him, Tim Ventic, and Noah Smith. Noah Smith, I got to say, racing awfully aggressive for somebody who's got that many seconds hanging over his head. Really, at that point, it's almost you should really just be trying to maintain position as opposed to taking any more positions because you're not going to benefit yourself passing the cars in front.
Oh.
It looks like Juan Rivas is...
Where is he retired?
Did he retire into the pits?
I think he might... No, wait. I don't know, actually. That is... Let's see where...
So we've got Oleski. Oleski's coming through Razkaz. That's really at the end of the track, so...
It might be in the pits, actually.
Yeah, he might have retired into the pits. That's interesting. I mean, I know he wasn't having a great race, but...
Yeah, especially with a safety car, it's kind of strange to decide to retire now, but... Yeah.
I mean, you're 14, 15 laps into a race. It's clearly going to be a race of attrition at this point. I mean, everything's been kind of uncharacteristic for a lot of these drivers. Max Mulder picking up another 3-second timing penalty under the safety car. So Max's day has just gone from bad to worse. Oh, and there's a car that has spun in front of Oleski. Oh. And who is this? Is that Ivan Burrito? That was Ivan Burrito that has spun in front of Oleski on the safety car laps.
Oh, wow. Yeah, as you say, this is going to be... it's not going to be a question of who has the fastest pace, but probably who has the mentality and the strength to keep it out of the wall at the end.
Well, I mean, you're talking... It's a lot of laps here. It's 39 laps. That's even a lot by, you know, virtual league standards. I mean, this track has to take a toll physically, especially if you're on wheel. Just the back and forth and the constant turning of the car. I mean, it's got to take a toll on the shoulders.
Yeah, I mean, the longest you go without basically, quote-unquote, turning the wheel would be the tunnel section. And even there, you are kind of turning into turning right into the downhill section. And especially also for those, I suppose, who are running manual gears. I know a couple of these guys are running automatic gearboxes, but for those who are running manual gears, there's a lot of gear shifts throughout a lap here. And as you say, we're doing 39 laps. That adds up to quite the amount of gear shifts throughout the Grand Prix.
Yes, I mean, on a physical toll, I mean, that's your shoulders, your wrists, your fingers. Even with an automatic gearbox, I mean, you're still fighting.
Yeah, fighting the force feedback and...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jensen Randall trying to put some heat into those front tires of his.
I mean, I can only imagine what the guys like Jensen and Jerome when they're on their wheel, because obviously they have Fanatec direct drive wheels with much more torque than what, for example, myself with my Thrustmaster has, so I can only imagine how their shoulders are feeling. I remember when I did my comeback in SRL, my shoulders were done at the end of the race in Australia, so I can only imagine how they're feeling with, well, twice or even 3 times the amount of force feedback.
So still circulating under the safety car. Looks like most of the cars are pretty much caught up to the queue at this point. Hopefully we'll get the notification that the safety car will be coming in this lap. Jensen Randall in the McLaren, currently your leader. He does have a 10-second timing penalty hanging over his head, speeding into the pit lane. So really the battle for the lead is between Sandro Dulius and Tim Ventic, running second and third. Noah Smith has as far as I know, 6 seconds worth of penalties hanging over his head. And you've got Noel Rosa in the 5th position. Andrea Latrella quietly moved his way up into 6th. Nick Van Gelder is in 7th. Jamie Jägerstrom, last week's 1v1 bracket winner, is 8th. Boer Bune and Robin Herstegen rounding out the top 10 points paying positions. That's a good effort by Team Haas. Aleski currently running in 11th. Vincenzo Torri got a timing penalty over his head, running in 12th. Dion Stahl, 13th. And your Season 2 champion, Alex Benarichetti, is currently running 14th. Ivan Brito, who's had a rough go of it today, 15th. And Max Mulder, who brought out the latest safety car, and he just smacked the wall at Sandefjord with the left rear of his car.
Yeah, he's not having a great outing.
He's still running, but he is spun at the top of the hill. So Max Mulder's day is just continuing to go on the decline. We've got the notification that the safety car is in this lap. So we'll try and pick up the action. Here they come down to Razkaz.
And I think Jensen has let it go now, so it'll be interesting to see how quickly he can pull the gap.
Well, Razkaz is a great place to try and get that power down. Get the other drivers called out, maybe napping a little bit through the corner. He's already pulled out to a second gap, but Sandro's running to the top of the hill. He's got Tim Ventic coming in behind. Noah Smith's backed off for the time being. Catches right back up, though, and then you've got another four-car battle behind him. Noel Rosa, Andrea Latrella, Nick Van Gelder, Jamie Jägerstrom.
When Jamie looking on Nick.
Oh, and that's to the inside. You can't go side by side. Nick's going to try and stay there. They're rubbing shoulders. And that's not going to work around the outside. These cars are too wide to go side by side. And this has allowed Borbune to become a part of this battle.
Jamie gets
and Nick is going to slide in behind Jamie Jägerstrom.
He's going, big lockups there into the chicane. And the move behind from Alessi.
Yeah, it's Aleski on Robin Herderstag and picks up the 10th position.
Great move.
So good move by Aleski. And you said, as you said, all kinds of lockups, white smoke everywhere for these guys.
It'll be interesting to see what Jamie can do now on his march towards.
Yeah, and Jägerstrom's going to go. He's trying to work his way around Andrea Latrella.
Yeah, we know Andrea is not an easy driver to pass. We saw it when he was a full-time driver. So it'll be interesting to see what Jamie can do here.
Ooh. Jägerstrom thought about it and then thought twice, cuts back in line.
Ooh, nearly
loses wiggle coming out of there.
He's driving that Williams on maximum sensitivity and max aggression.
And Max Mulder with another timing penalty. So Max Mulder, I think, is on his way to set the record for the most timing penalties in an SRL race. I don't know what the record is, but
if he doesn't slow down at this point, he's going to get disqualified.
Jägerstrom looking to make a move downhill to the hairpin. He's in the inside. Oh, and they make a little bit of contact.
Did he lose a bit of front wing there? No, I think he kept it. That was close.
Through the swimming pool section, Jägerstrom. Yeah, he's got a timing penalty hanging over his head, but he's fast enough. Oh, he's going to try the inside of Razkaz. Oh, and they make contact.
Yeah, that does not work when you don't agree on it. And it didn't seem like Andrea was so keen on that. And we have it. Oh, this is
going to be hairy going into here. Look at this. And Nick Van Gelder somehow gets into the 7th position over Andrea Latrella. So Latrella was the big loser in all that. Lost a lot of momentum at Razkaz. Didn't have the DRS going down the front straightaway.
And Max is parked up at the casino square, so letting the traffic by. I don't know what he's doing.
I think at this point Max does need to park the car. There's, kind of like you did. I mean, there's potential. He's got, rear wing damage, floor damage, and it's just making the car undrivable. So,
yeah, exactly.
At this point, he really just needs to call it a day. Caution flag flying in Sector 2. That's probably for Max Mulder.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think at this point he should consider it. If he was a part of the pile up on lap 1 and picked up a lot of damage, he should have retired a long time ago. He is over a minute behind Ivan, who's himself nearly 2 minutes behind P14. So, yeah, not a good day for Max.
Meanwhile, the battle continues up front. Oh, and Tim Ventic just picked up a 3-second timing penalty. So Sandro Dulius is currently running in second, has no timing penalty. Jensen Ramba, who's in front of him, has a 10-second timing penalty. And the two drivers behind him both have at least 1 or 2. Oh, and virtual safety car out again.
suppose that's for the other Alpine, maybe. Or maybe I'm just
Well, Max Mulder's going into the pits for another set of tires and another front wing. At this point, I don't think Alpine would have any more wings left in real life.
I mean, at this point, he's using up the Renault budget, so for spare parts. But I mean,
so
he
Jensen
refuses
Randall
to retire.
out front, 10-second penalty. So Sandro is essentially the leader of this race as they go back to green flag racing. However, Sandro did lose a little bit of time under that virtual safety car. It's so hard to stay inside that delta correctly without losing time.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Because on the straights, it goes into the green, and then you get to a corner, and then you have to be super careful because the delta closes down so fast. So, and as we discussed earlier, a bit of a tap there for Sandro on the wall.
So Sandro feeling the pressure.
Yeah. I would as well at this point, having Tim Venting behind me for a whole Grand Prix.
Robin Herderstegen, 10-second timing penalty, speeding into pit lane. So that's the second driver we've seen do that. Jensen Randall being the first. So that's why Jensen has that 10-second timing penalty hanging over his head.
But I do wonder if Tim Venting filling up Sandro's mirrors is taking a bit of his concentration away from just running his race and closing down Jensen Randall, because the gap is opening up to the McLaren in front. So,
well, if there was ever a track where you just need to race the track and not the cars around you, it is Monaco.
Absolutely.
You just got to hit your marks. Don't worry about the cars behind you.
But you're still thinking, I can attest to this, you're still thinking, what is the car behind me going to do? Because you don't know, obviously. Because now we see Tim Venting, yes, DRS, he's going to go for it. Is Sandro going to be thinking, even though, like, it's very unlikely, but you're still thinking, is the driver behind me going to miss the braking point? Is he going to take me out, or what's going to happen? So, you're always thinking that, as Max Mulder has pitted yet again. Oh, and Ivan has fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've got a caution flag flying in Sector 2. Looks like that would be Ivan Brito.
Yeah, another good day for the Portuguese driver, unfortunately. He was running in the top 10 at one point, but it's fallen apart.
And you're right, that 10-second gap is it's getting close. Sandro now 8.3 seconds behind Sandro. Here comes Tim Ventic. He's looking to make a move, and he's going to try and go around the outside at the Novell chicane. It's not going to work there. That's allowed Noah Smith to close the gap on him.
But this is still really good for Jensen because, as Tim slaps the wall there. But even that Sandro has to move out of the ideal line to cover for Tim, it loses him speed coming out of the corner. So it's all playing into Jensen's hands right now.
Yeah, Sandro now 9.2 seconds back. And Ivan Brito picks up another 3-second timing penalty. Tim Ventic to the move on Zandvoort.
Oh, spicy.
And a good aggressive move by Tim Ventic. That's going to move him into the second position. Now, that is 10 seconds. Jensen Randall is effectively going to win this race if things ended the way they are right now. However, Tim Ventic might have the speed. He's got a 3-second timing penalty, so he's essentially got to have a 7-second gap.
Exactly, and I'm not saying anything, but the guy who's been causing a lot of safety cars this evening has been the other Alpine. I'm not saying that it's going to be a Singapore 2.0, but
it is effectively the same overall team.
It is. I'm just saying. I'm not sparking conspiracy theories here, but we do have a very loose Max Mulder out on track still in the other Alpine, so you never know.
I don't see Tim Ventic making up any time, though. That gap continues to grow. 11.4 seconds now. Effectively, Jensen Randall. I mean, Max finally decides to retire from the race as the caution flag flies in Sector 2.
He might not have decided. He might have collided with the wall as it's in Sector 2, I think. Maybe.
Oh, we've got a whole gaggle of cars back here battling it out for the 10th position. Looks like we've got Oleski's currently running in 7th. Right behind him is Vincenzo Torri, Borbune in 9th, Andrea Latrella in 10th, and Dion Stahl trying to catch up to that 4-car battle. So got a lot going on back there.
Bit of a Haas wing that was flying there. The end plate of the Borbune's Haas there.
Nick Van Gelder currently running in the 6th position. He's got Oleski 1.5 seconds back from him. So Nick kind of running all by his lonesome right now. He's 5 seconds back from Jamie Jägerstrom. He's about 2 seconds in front of Oleski. Meanwhile, Sandro Dulius has lost a little bit of ground to Tim Ventic. And 1.2 seconds back now. Sandro's still going to capitalize on that because Tim's still got that 3-second timing penalty that he's got to deal with. But Sandro, the only driver in the top 3 right now, no timing penalty.
And we might see a spicy battle brewing soon.
Oh, but Sandro's got wing damage. The right front end plate of his wing is gone. That's why he is struggling. Yeah, so he's losing time to Noah Smith. And Jamie Jägerstrom's coming up to the top of the hill, and he is on a mission. Caution flag flying in Sector 1. Who is this? Vincenzo Torri's in the wall.
Oh, dear, yeah. He's not retired, but it's not going to be a safety car. It's not enough.
I'd say, what, Sandevort there, turn 1.
Yeah,
so he loses
two Williams
out.
Is now hounding the Ferrari of Dulis, so be interesting to see if Williams decide to do a driver swap here to see if they can put Jamie in front. Oh dear!
And Sandro into the wall. He had a lot of help there from Jägerstrom.
And his wing is completely gone now.
His day has gone from good to bad. That is unfortunate for him. He's going to have Nick Van Gelders coming like a rocket on the back of him.
And Nick could actually profit from this. He doesn't have a timing penalty himself, and I would expect Noah to potentially receive a post-race penalty from helping Sandro around at the chicane there. So we're probably looking at a Nick podium here, potentially.
That would be definitely interesting to see, especially for somebody who's, it's been a long time since he's been on the podium. Joined qualifying halfway through, so he wasn't able to put in his best effort. Oh, and Noah Smith is retired from the session. So
he's crashed at Casino.
Yep, he crashed at the top of Casino.
And Borbune runs into the car of Noah Smith.
And now Borbune's got no front wing. Caution flag flying Sector 1. And no virtual safety car, no safety car as of yet. So Borbune's a sitting duck. He's got Oleski behind him. Oleski's got end plate damage on the left front of his wing. Andrea Latrella looks like he's the only clean car in this bunch. The stewards are definitely going to have their work cut out for him. Borbune picks up a 3-second timing penalty, cutting through the chicane. Andrea Latrella almost ran into the back of Oleski, get down the hill.
Oh dear. Yeah, and it's around this time right now. Drivers are getting fatigued. We're starting to see it.
Starting to see a lot of silly mistakes. It's and again a race of attrition. Dion Stahl looks like he's going to pick up a position as Borbune has to dive into the pits, obviously.
And I do wonder now if we're going to see Jägerström close up to Venting and potentially make a bid for the lead of the race. There's still just about 10 laps to go, and he's been flying today, the Danish Williams driver. So
yeah, Jägerström has been putting in some qualifying lap efforts here in the late goings of this race, trying to close these gaps down. Meanwhile, Jensen Randall, I know he's out in front by a lot, but he's managed to miss everything that's happened on track. So there's got to be a golden horseshoe up his butt somewhere.
Well, yeah, I would assume that's a way to say it, I suppose.
Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of skill involved in something like this, but you're this far out in front. You have drivers that are, a minute and a half behind, and you haven't run into any of the lap traffics, melees, debris, nothing. It's been a good race for Jensen Randall, obviously. 17 seconds out in front of Tim Ventic. He's managed to miss any and all instances on track of any type of collision.
I mean, when you pick up a 10-second time penalty and you're still leading by 7 seconds, I mean, you're having a good day. So I agree with you. There is obviously there is a lot of skill that can be attributed to the things we're seeing with Jensen Randall, but as you're saying, for him not to hit a plate of carbon fiber that has been spread across the track and pick up a puncture, I mean, there is a bit of luck. Despite what Lando Norris might say that it's all about luck, this is not all about luck, but there is a bit of luck.
And Sandro Dooley has just run the fastest lap of this race. He's got himself a fresh set of mediums on the car, a new front wing, and he's out to try and salvage whatever he can. And caution flag flying in Sector 3.
That's one of the Mercedes cars, I would assume. Ivan, potentially? Oh, he's parked in a really, really not clever place.
And he just backed it into the wall. Borbune picked up a 3-second timing penalty. Ivan Brito lost his front wing.
Might have some rear wing damage, potentially.
I like Ivan a lot, but this is another one of those things. Maybe you should just call it a day and stay out of the way. And he is going to do just that as he moves into the pits and retires the car. So,
yeah, he took your advice.
I've always appreciated the fact that Ivan understands when he's a problem and when he's not, because when he is a problem, he doesn't take anybody with him. And when he's not a problem, he puts in some great defensive driving.
And that is usually what we see with Ivan, is that, like, he might retire every now and then, but he never takes someone down with him, usually. And if he does, it's definitely not on purpose, or he hates when it happens. It has happened a couple of times, but not very often, as you say.
So we got a couple of battles going on. We've got Vincenzo Torres all over the back of Dion Stahl for the 8th position. I'm sorry, for the 7th position. And then in front of them, you've got Andrea Latrella all over the back of Oleski. Now, Tim Ventic has just moved into the pit, so that's allowed Jamie Jägerstrom to go up into the second spot, albeit 27 seconds behind Jensen Randall.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Sandro right now. He's I can imagine what he is like under the helmet right now. Red hot, just like his car, fuming that he got turned around, and he's on a mission, but I think, yeah, it's gonna be difficult. He's closing up to Noel at the moment, I think, so...
Yeah, but still 4.7 seconds back. I mean, if anything, he can garner the bonus point for the fastest lap.
Actually not, because I do think Borbune took that fastest lap away from him.
Well, that would be disappointing. He had such a good qualifying effort. He had a good first 2/3 of this race, really.
Yeah. And also a big shout out to Nick van Gelder, who's currently in P3, moved up 12 positions. Definitely someone I would go for in terms of driver of the day. Stayed mostly out of the chaos.
I mean, the opening lap melee was, there were so many cars involved. I don't think it was any one driver's fault. I mean, realistically, it's Monaco. Something's bound to happen coming up the hill with that many cars.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Tim Ventic is on newer tires behind Nick and is looking to get around him, working lap 32 of 39, so...
But it's going to be very difficult, I think. It's not
Nick
easy.
doesn't have the timing penalty. He could let him go and try and stay within that 3 seconds, but I think Tim on those fresher tires, that might be hard to do.
Yeah, he might pull away very easily. Nick on 25 laps, old, hard tires. I don't think he's going to stay with Tim if Tim does get by him. It'll be interesting to see. Here comes the Alpine.
Oh, and they both. Oh no! Here comes Oleski.
Oh, there is.
Oh no, and they're parked. Oh, they're parked. This is bad news bears for everybody. Sandro looks like he's wrapped up in it again. Dion Stahl's wrapped up in it again. A 10-second penalty for Tim Ventic for blocking the track. Oh my goodness!
Oh dear.
The stewards are going to have their work cut out for them, and commentators curse, your teammate curse.
Oh, and Borbune has a puncture. Oh no. It's all kicking off here in the tying laps of the Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, and he's into the wall. Borbune couldn't get the car to turn. He resets himself to the track. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
No, I think that's...
Oh, and he's into the wall again.
That Haas is not turning. Tim has retired. It's
oh
all
my
a mess.
goodness. Nick is in the pits.
Oh no! And Dion is in P4. What on earth is happening? Sandro went from P10 to P6. And I don't think that the two Ferrari had picked up damage, so they could still be on for a very, very good team result here.
So Noel Rosa finds himself in the middle of a Ferrari sandwich. Dion Stahl in the 4th position. Sandro in the 6th position. What is going on at Monaco? And Sandro looking to make a move.
Sandro!
Oh my goodness.
Please keep it clean, guys. And meanwhile, Alexi has moved into the podium spots. And that Mercedes took advantage of the melee coming out of the chicane.
This has been absolute lunacy here at the end of this race.
And I just noticed Alexi he's missing some front wing. Could we potentially see to do commentator's curse? Could we see the other Ferrari of Dion Stahl potentially fight for a podium today? I don't know when the last time that has happened. I need to check my.
The last time Dion was on the podium, I mean, I don't think. And this isn't a knock against. This is not a knock against Dion, but I don't even think I was commentating yet.
That must have been.
I've been doing this for 7 seasons.
Yeah, exactly. You jumped on what, season 3?
Yeah, season 3. Yeah, season 3.
Oh, it's been a long time. And here come. Oh yeah,
Dion is catching, and Dion's 1.5 seconds back.
Could we be seeing an upset?
And another caution. Oh, Benerichetti is now retired.
At this point, if you just keep it out of the wall, you're going to score points.
Unless you're Robin Herterstegen.
Well, yeah.
And Nick finally picks up an actual 3-second timing penalty, just to add insult to injury.
We're almost under a second now for Dion. He is catching. There's 4 laps to go.
Dion's got a real chance. Oleski is struggling with his car. He's got little front grip with that end plate gone. Dion's car is clean for all intents and purposes.
They're on similar lap tires, so that is going to play into Dion's hands because he's on the hard tire, obviously. Alexi is going to have more worn medium tires.
He is under a second now. He just needs to maintain his pace. Borbune ran the fastest lap of this race just now, 1:10.137, so good for him.
I mean, everything is happening. We could have the Borbune fastest lap. This is for the history books, as Sandro makes it past the Kick Sauber of Noel.
So, great move by Sandro, moves into the 5th position. We're currently watching Dion Stahl.
I do wonder if the dirty air is playing a bit here, because Dion has closed within 1 second, but he's not really closing that fast anymore.
Well, he'll have the DRS a little bit of an advantage down the front straightaway.
Meanwhile, the lead, if we just need to touch upon that, 40 seconds.
Yeah, that 10-second timing penalty means absolutely nothing at this point. And Jensen has pitted. Jensen is in the pits. I mean, he's got enough time.
Yeah, he's
really,
picking up a fast lap. He's removing his hard tires, going for fastest lap, getting rid of the penalty. I mean, why wouldn't you?
I don't know. I just let Borbune have his little shining moment. You know, like.
Oh, and Dion knocks his front wing.
Just. Oh, Dion.
No. Oh well. Is he gonna let Sandro pass now, or is it gonna be a straight fight? It's not often he's used to running in these positions, so I mean the pressure could have got to him. Oh yeah, he's feeling it.
Very wide through there. And I guess Sandro doesn't have any wing damage at this point, so.
I do wonder if they're gonna swap down the start-finish straight potentially. See if.
Yeah, it looks like Sandro's going to get a run around the outside. Dion's probably going to let him go in the Sandavort.
Ooh, I said that
Sandro
didn't
gets
look very
around, so-
difficult, but
Sandro potentially looking to make a comeback here and still grab that podium position that was his earlier in this race.
yeah.
And he has caught Oleski like a freaking freight train. Oh, and Dion is trying to hold off Andrea Latrella behind him. They make a little bit of contact here at the Grand Hotel hairpin.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
Alexi
Sandro, Oleski is struggling bad with these tires.
That Mercedes is not moving fast in the corners, that's for sure. I wonder if he is flashing Sandro, so I do wonder if he has the RS to go for a move. Here he comes. Oh, no.
And Oleski picks up a 3-second timing penalty. So
I
Sandro will essentially get that position, no problem.
do wonder if that penalty could be attributed to Sandro throwing it down the inside. So, but no harm done so far.
He should be able to get him heading into Sandavort. And at a turn one, he's going to have the DRS advantage. Oleski's going to let him go around the outside. He's going to cut across his nose.
Oh, and Nick is in the
flying.
wall.
Nick coming out of Raskaz.
Yeah. Sandro is glued to the back of the Mercedes right now.
This has been a ridiculous race. I know Sandro would love to get that podium, really get him back to where he was before the melee between him and Jägerstrom and Noah Smith. And Jensen Randall takes fastest lap. That's really unnecessary. It's kind of a knuckle in the back.
Yeah, and here comes Sandro. Is he going to throw it down the inside?
No, he thought better of it this time.
But Alexi running very, very deep there in the chicane.
So Jensen Randall has started the final lap of this race.
I do wonder if he's been feeling a bit bored out in front. I mean, there's been plenty of action behind him.
Again, Jensen Randall, I mean, he's so good, it's annoying.
Yeah, he is. He really is.
Sandro, I mean, to be like you said, he had a 10-second timing penalty hanging over his head. He was, at one point, even with the timing penalty, still 17 seconds ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's as you said, I mean, there's a lot of luck involved, but, I mean, today was definitely more skill than luck on Jensen's behalf.
But then again, you create your own luck. Like, he was lucky that he didn't run into any of the chaos, but, I mean, he qualified on pole position, so he took himself out of that equation by doing that. So,
and Jensen has officially come across the line to finish this race, so he is your winner. We're currently watching Sandro and Oleski. It's the final lap of this race. See if Sandro's got anything left in his bag of tricks to try and take the position. He's going to... Oh, he thought about it. Almost lost the car. Robin Herterstegen picks up a 10-second timing penalty for unserved penalty.
Okay, yeah. And I do wonder what we're going to see here. Jamie, obviously, P2. Great drive by him. Who's going to get that final podium spot? Andrea has now...
and Andrea tries to get to the inside of Dion. Loses the back end coming out of there.
Despite everything. I think it's going to be a Ferrari 3-4.
And Oleski down into the 5th position.
Good going by the Ferrari boys. Nick is going to be P9. Oh, it is, I think.
So, man, what a... That is a wild, wild race. Vincenzo Torri, even though he's in a Ferrari, what?
No, that's just his favorite team, I think. But yeah, I do not agree with that. I do think that, I don't know, driver of the day. I could be tempted to give it to Jensen for absolute dominating. But then again, you have the likes of Jamie Jägerström and Sandro.
You know, I'm half tempted to give it to Sandro for the comeback drive, getting back to the podium after what happened to him. I'm half tempted to say Dion Stahl because it's his best result in a long time, and he, for the most part, stayed out of trouble for 95% of the race.
Exactly, yeah. There's so many drivers. Like, you have Andrea, who started 10th who moved up to P6. I mean, Dion started P11 and moved up to 4th, so good on him.
So here's our unofficial results. Jensen Randall is your winner, followed by Jamie Jägerstrom, followed by Sandro Dulius. Dion Stahl 4th, Aleski is 5th, Andrea Latrella 6th, Noel Rosa is 7th, Vincenzo Torri 8th, Nick Van Gelder 9th, Bor Bune is 10th, Robin Herterstegen is 11th. Everybody else beyond that, Benna Ricchetti, Tim Ventic, Ivan Brito, Noah Smith, Max Mulder, Juan Rivas, Jerome Adamaco, Sam Brandt, and David Rod, all DNFs. So we started with 20 cars, end with 11. These are, again, unofficial results. I suggest everyone go over to Instagram, follow SRL_F1 for all of the news and notes that are going to be coming out of today's race, because I got a feeling the finishing positions are probably going to change a little bit depending on what or if any penalties are served post-race. So
yeah, I would think so, that there could be a bit of reshuffling in this order. So yeah, as you said, head over to Instagram and stay updated over there. So, but yeah, that's been Monaco, and quite a crazy race, I want to say. So I know Lance has a bit of an issue with his microphone, so I'm just stalling until he gets plugged back in. But yeah, chaotic race, obviously. Lots of retirements and lots of chaos. And even though everything kicked off, Jensen Randall still came out on top. So yeah, that's very impressive from our champion of champions, I suppose you could call him at the moment. He is just layers above everyone. So
and how about now?
And now we have him back.
I will figure this crap out eventually.
At some point, hopefully.
So guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment to the YouTube channel. Check us out on Instagram, SRL_F1. Tune in next week, January 4th, 1 p.m. again. Be the Round 11, the British Grand Prix at the fabled Silverstone Circuit. I'm Kamikaze Fox. This has been Sam Brandt. Hopefully I don't talk to him next week. Hopefully he's out on track. And we'll see everybody at the next round.
Goodbye.